My child, I've been trying to get your attention all day. Stop scrolling right now. That thing you're avoiding, face it with me standing beside you. What I'm about to tell you will give you the courage you've been lacking. My dear child, tonight something extraordinary is unfolding in your life, and I want you to feel this truth deep within your heart. Right now, as you listen to these words, invisible doors are opening that have been locked for far too long. There is a gentle wind of change blowing through your circumstances, and it carries with it the sweet fragrance of answered prayers and unexpected blessings that will touch every corner of your existence. You know that feeling when you wake up in the middle of the night and your mind immediately rushes to all your worries. Those bills sitting on your table, the rent that's coming due, the unexpected expenses that keep piling up like autumn leaves. I see those sleepless nights when you stare at the ceiling, calculating and recalculating, trying to figure out how to make everything work with what little you have. But tonight, my precious one, all of that restless anxiety is coming to an end because something beautiful and powerful is already moving on your behalf. Heaven is not a distant place that doesn't care about your daily struggles. The divine presence that created galaxies and painted sunsets is intimately aware of every single tear you've cried in private, every time you've felt overwhelmed by financial pressure, every moment you've wondered if things would ever get better. And I'm here to tell you with absolute certainty that your breakthrough is not somewhere far away in the future. It's arriving right now, in this very moment, while you're listening to these words. There is an ancient promise that has been spoken over your life since before you were born, and that promise is awakening tonight like a sleeping giant rising to defend you. Every limitation that has held you back, every obstacle that has blocked your path to prosperity, every voice that whispered you would never make it out of your financial struggles, all of these things are being silenced by a power far greater than any earthly force. Think about water rushing through a dam that suddenly breaks open. That's the kind of overflow that's coming toward you. Not a slow trickle, not a gentle drip, but a mighty river of provision that will sweep away debt, wash over every area of lack, and flood your life with such abundance that you'll hardly recognize your own circumstances a few weeks from now. This isn't wishful thinking or empty encouragement. This is a spiritual reality that's manifesting into your physical world as I speak. You've been faithful even when it hurt. You've given to others even when your own pockets were empty. You've maintained your integrity even when it would have been easier to compromise. You've kept believing even when everything around you screamed that nothing would change. And now, because of that unwavering trust, because of that beautiful faith you've held on to like a lifeline, the rewards are coming that will make up for every sacrifice you've made. I want you to understand something powerful right now. Your financial situation has never been a reflection of your worth or your future. It has simply been a season, a chapter in your story that's about to turn to a completely new page. The same force that causes seeds to break through concrete, that makes flowers bloom in the desert, that turns winter into spring, is now working in your favor to transform everything that looks dead or dried up in your life into something vibrant and alive. There are people right now, in offices and boardrooms, in banks and businesses, who don't even know your name yet, but they're about to become instruments of your blessing. Decisions are being made, contracts are being prepared, opportunities are being arranged, and all of it is aligning perfectly to bring resources directly to you. You didn't manipulate this. You didn't force this. You simply stayed faithful, and now the universe is responding to that faithfulness in ways that will leave you amazed. Type Amen if you believe that God sees you right now and knows exactly what you need. Let me tell you something about divine timing that might surprise you. Sometimes what looks like a delay is actually divine protection, keeping you safe until everything is perfectly aligned for your success. Those opportunities that didn't work out, those jobs you didn't get, those doors that stayed closed, they weren't rejections at all. They were redirections guiding you away from paths that would have led to frustration and toward the exact right moment when everything would fall into place effortlessly. Right now, there's a shift happening in the invisible realm that governs all visible things. Think of it like tectonic plates moving beneath the surface of the earth. You can't see it happening, but the movement is real and powerful, and soon you'll see the results rise up in your everyday life. Bank accounts that have been stuck at the same low numbers for months or years are about to show increases that make you blink and check again to make sure you're reading correctly. The stress that has lived in your shoulders like a heavy backpack, the anxiety that has made your chest feel tight, the worry that has stolen your peace and kept you up at night. All of this is lifting off of you right now like morning fog disappearing when the sun rises. You're going to breathe easier. You're going to sleep deeper. You're going to wake up with hope instead of dread because you'll know in your spirit that everything is working out, that provision is on its way, that you're being taken care of by a love so vast and so practical that it cares about every detail of your daily life. I want you to think about the story of manna falling from heaven. People who were wandering in a desert, hungry and desperate, woke up one morning to find bread covering the ground around them. They didn't plant it. They didn't earn it. They didn't deserve it more than anyone else. It simply appeared because heaven decided to provide for them in their time of need. That same kind of supernatural provision is moving toward you right now, and it's going to show up in ways you never expected. Maybe it'll be a phone call from someone offering you an opportunity. Maybe it'll be a check in the mail you weren't expecting. Maybe it'll be a debt that gets forgiven or a bill that gets paid by someone else. Maybe it'll be a business idea that suddenly becomes clear in your mind, or a connection that opens doors you've been trying to knock on for years. However it comes, you'll know it wasn't just coincidence or good luck. You'll recognize the fingerprints of divine intervention all over it. Your family has carried certain patterns for generations. Maybe financial struggle has been something that echoed through your family tree, passed down like an unwanted inheritance from parents to children. Maybe you've watched your grandparents struggle, seen your parents work themselves to exhaustion for barely enough, and feared you were destined to repeat the same cycle. But I'm telling you tonight that those generational chains are breaking right now. The pattern stops with you. The cycle ends at this moment. You are not your past. You are not your parents' limitations. You are not bound by the struggles that came before you. Tonight marks the beginning of a new lineage of blessing, a new family story where abundance flows freely and provision comes easily. Your children and their children will look back at this time in your life and say, this was when everything changed. This was when our family stepped into a completely different level of living. Before you move forward into this new chapter, you need to understand something crucial about the nature of blessing. It's not just about receiving resources. It's about becoming a channel through which resources flow to others. The abundance coming to you isn't meant to be hoarded or clutched tightly in fear that it might disappear. It's meant to overflow from your life into the lives of people around you, creating ripples of generosity and kindness that spread far beyond what you can see. When you receive this financial breakthrough, and you will receive it, you're going to find yourself in a position to help others in ways you've only dreamed about. That friend who's struggling, you'll be able to bless them. That cause you've cared about, you'll be able to support it. Those small acts of kindness you've wanted to do but couldn't afford, they'll become possible. This is how divine provision works. It never stops with just one person. It creates a current of blessing that lifts everyone it touches. Now I want you to do something with me right now. Take a deep breath and release every bit of tension you're holding. Let your shoulders drop. Relax your jaw. Unclench your fists. Feel the weight of financial worries sliding off your back like a heavy coat you no longer need to wear. In this moment, you are safe. In this moment, you are provided for. In this moment, you are loved beyond measure, and that love is about to express itself through practical, tangible blessings that meet your real needs. There's a reason you're hearing these words tonight. Out of billions of people on this planet, out of millions of videos and messages you could be listening to, you're here right now because there's a divine appointment happening. This isn't random. This isn't coincidence. You were meant to receive this message at this exact time because the breakthrough you need is synchronized with this moment. The timing is perfect, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. Think about how many times you've prayed for help, how many times you've looked up and whispered, "Please, I need a miracle." How many times you've felt desperate and alone, wondering if anyone heard those prayers or cared about your situation. Every single one of those prayers was heard. Every single tear was collected. Every single moment of faithfulness was recorded. And now the answer to all of those prayers is being released in one powerful wave that will sweep through your life and change everything. The people who doubted you are about to be shocked. The voices that said you'd never make it out of your financial struggles are about to be proven wrong. The family members who pitied you, the friends who looked down on you, the critics who counted you out, they're all about to witness something they can't explain. Your rise won't make sense to them because they'll be trying to understand it through logic and natural circumstances. But this breakthrough is supernatural, and supernatural events don't follow natural rules. You're not going to have to defend yourself or explain how things turned around. Your life itself will be the testimony. The peace on your face will speak louder than words. The stability in your circumstances will be undeniable. The overflow in your finances will be visible to everyone around you. And when they ask how it happened, you'll smile and say, "It was nothing I did. It was all grace. It was pure blessing. It was divine intervention." Type 333 if you can feel something shifting in your spirit right now. Let me paint a picture for you of what's coming. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning without that familiar knot of anxiety in your stomach. You check your phone and there's a message you weren't expecting, an opportunity you didn't see coming, an answer to something you'd almost given up on. You check your bank account and instead of dreading what you'll see, you feel calm because you know somehow, someway provision is flowing toward you. The bills that used to terrify you become just pieces of paper that get paid without drama. The unexpected expenses that used to send you into panic become minor inconveniences that you handle with ease. The constant juggling of which bill to pay first and which one can wait becomes a thing of the past because there's enough, more than enough, to cover everything with room to spare. This isn't fantasy. This isn't too good to be true. This is the natural result of aligning with divine provision, and that alignment is happening for you right now. Every financial blockage is being removed like debris being cleared from a river so the water can flow freely again. Every closed door is being opened like gates swinging wide to let you pass through. Every limitation is being lifted like fog burning off in the morning sun. You know what's beautiful about this moment? You don't have to be perfect to receive this blessing. You don't have to have all your life together. You don't have to understand theology or speak in spiritual language. You just have to be willing to believe that you're loved, that you're seen, that you matter, and that your needs are important to the force that created everything. That's it. That's all that's required. Your willingness to hope again, to trust again, to believe that good things can happen to you. I want you to consider before we continue, if you're finding hope and encouragement in this message, would you take just a moment to subscribe to this channel? There are many more messages like this one, words of encouragement and breakthrough that could continue to strengthen your faith and lift your spirit in the days ahead. Your subscription helps this message reach others who are struggling just like you were, who need to hear that miracles are still possible, that breakthroughs still happen, that divine provision is still real. So go ahead and click that subscribe button, and then let's continue with what heaven wants to speak over your life tonight. Now, there's something I need you to understand about the nature of this blessing that's coming to you. It's not going to require you to work harder than you already have. You've worked hard enough. You've struggled long enough. You've pushed and strived and exhausted yourself trying to make things work through your own effort. This breakthrough is different because it's going to come through favor, not labor. It's going to arrive through grace, not grinding. Favor is when doors open that should have stayed closed. Favor is when people say yes who should have said no. Favor is when opportunities come looking for you instead of you having to chase them down. Favor is when solutions appear before you even fully understand the problem. And favor is flowing toward you right now like a river that's been dammed up for years and suddenly breaks free, rushing with power and purpose directly to where you are. You've heard stories of people whose lives changed overnight. Maybe you've heard about someone who got an unexpected inheritance, or landed a dream job they weren't even qualified for, or received a phone call that opened doors they'd been trying to open for years. And maybe you thought those things only happened to other people, to the lucky ones, to those who somehow deserve it more. But I'm here to tell you that your story is being written right now, and it's going to be one of those miraculous turnarounds that others hear about and find hard to believe. There are angels, if you believe in such things, or call them divine messengers, or simply think of them as the invisible forces of good that work on behalf of those who trust in something greater than themselves. Whatever language makes sense to you, know that these forces are active right now, moving pieces into place, arranging circumstances, touching hearts, opening minds, all to create pathways for your blessing to reach you. Think about dominoes lined up in an intricate pattern. One small push at the beginning creates a chain reaction that affects every single piece. That initial push has already happened in the spiritual realm. And now you're going to watch as one thing leads to another, as one breakthrough opens the door for the next one, as momentum builds and carries you forward into a completely different level of living. The debt that has haunted you, following you like a shadow, whispering failure in your ear every time you think about your future, that debt is about to be dealt with in ways you can't orchestrate yourself. Maybe it'll be forgiven. Maybe resources will come that allow you to pay it off in one sweep. Maybe terms will change that make it manageable. However it happens, the burden is lifting. The weight is being removed. Freedom is coming, and it's not just about the money itself, although that's certainly important. It's about what the money represents: security, peace of mind, the ability to breathe without constant worry, the freedom to make choices based on what's right rather than what's affordable, the opportunity to be generous instead of always being the one in need. All of these things are wrapped up in the financial breakthrough that's heading your way. Your mind has been so occupied with survival that you've forgotten how to dream. When was the last time you allowed yourself to imagine a life without financial stress? When was the last time you thought about what you'd actually want to do if money wasn't an issue? When was the last time you considered possibilities instead of just problems? That creative, hopeful part of you is about to wake up again, because once the pressure of constant financial crisis is removed, you'll have mental and emotional space to dream again, to plan again, to hope again. I want you to start seeing yourself differently right now. Not as someone who's struggling, but as someone who's transitioning. Not as someone who's lacking, but as someone who's about to receive. Not as someone who's failing, but as someone who's being repositioned for success. The way you see yourself matters because it affects how you show up in the world, how you respond to opportunities, how you carry yourself through each day. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are not at the mercy of an economy or a system or bad luck. You are a person of value and dignity who is loved and cared for by a force that has unlimited resources and perfect timing. Your story is not over. Your best chapters haven't been written yet. The struggling parts were just the introduction, the setup for a plot twist so dramatic that everyone who knows you will be amazed. Type I believe if you're ready to step into everything that's being prepared for you. Now let's talk about something practical. When this breakthrough comes, and it will come, you need to be ready to receive it with wisdom. Sudden increase can be overwhelming if you're not prepared for it. So I want you to start thinking now about how you'll steward the blessings that are coming. Not with anxiety or fear of messing it up, but with intentionality and gratitude. Think about the bills you'll pay first. Think about the debts you'll clear. Think about the savings you'll start. Think about the people you'll bless. Think about the peace you'll finally feel. Let these thoughts fill your mind instead of the worry that's been living there. Start replacing fear-based thinking with faith-based planning. This isn't presumption. This is preparation. This is getting ready for the answer before it arrives. You know what's interesting about seasons of struggle? They teach you things that prosperity never could. They teach you resilience, resourcefulness, gratitude for small things, empathy for others who are hurting, and a depth of character that can only be forged through difficulty. So even though this season has been hard, it hasn't been wasted. You've gained wisdom and strength and perspective that you'll carry with you into the abundant season ahead. The person you're becoming through this process is someone who won't take blessings for granted. You'll be someone who remembers what lack felt like and therefore handles abundance with care and generosity. You'll be someone who can speak hope to others who are struggling because you've walked that road and found your way out. You'll be someone whose testimony has power because it's real, it's authentic, it's tested and proven. There's a beautiful principle in nature that says night is always darkest just before dawn. When you're in that deep darkness, it feels like morning will never come, like you'll be stuck in that black void forever. But if you wait, if you hold on just a little longer, light begins to creep over the horizon. Slowly at first, then faster, until suddenly the whole sky is ablaze with color and warmth and the promise of a new day. You're in that moment right before dawn. Hold on. The light is coming. Everything in creation moves in cycles and seasons. There's a time for planting and a time for harvesting, a time for winter's rest and a time for spring's new growth, a time for waiting and a time for receiving. You've been in the planting season, the winter season, the waiting season, and all of that has been necessary to prepare the ground for what's about to spring up in your life. But the seasons are shifting now. Harvest is coming. Spring is arriving. The time of receiving is here. Can you feel it? There's a change in the atmosphere around you. It might be subtle, just a slight shift in your spirit, a small glimmer of hope you haven't felt in a while, a tiny release of tension you've been carrying. Pay attention to these signs. They're indicators that something is moving, that the breakthrough is not just coming but is already beginning to manifest. Your prayers have not fallen on deaf ears. Your tears have not been ignored. Your faithfulness has not gone unnoticed. Everything you've sown in faith, every kind word you've spoken when you had nothing to be happy about, every time you chose to trust instead of panic, every moment you held on when it would have been easier to give up, all of it has been creating a harvest that's about to be gathered and presented to you. The enemy of your soul tried to convince you to quit, tried to make you believe nothing would ever change, that you were destined for constant struggle, that hope was foolish and faith was naive. But you didn't quit. You kept going. You kept believing. You kept trusting. And now that perseverance is about to pay off in ways that will vindicate your faith and silence every voice of doubt. I want you to understand that this breakthrough is not just for you to survive, but for you to thrive. Not just for you to get by, but for you to overflow. Not just for you to make ends meet, but for you to have abundance. The provision coming is not minimal or barely enough. It's exceeding, overflowing, more than sufficient. Because that's how divine blessing works. It's never stingy or calculated. It's lavish and generous and abundant. Think about rain after a long drought. It doesn't just sprinkle a little bit, it pours, it soaks the ground, it fills the rivers, it brings everything back to life. That's the kind of blessing that's about to pour into your circumstances. Not a drizzle, but a downpour. Not a trickle, but a flood. Not barely enough, but more than enough, with extra to spare. Type Amen if your spirit is agreeing with these words right now. You've probably noticed that I keep repeating certain themes because I want them to sink deep into your consciousness. I want you to truly believe that this is real, that this is happening, that you're not being teased or misled or given false hope. This is truth speaking to your situation, and the more you allow these words to settle into your heart, the more you'll be able to receive what's being offered. Sometimes we sabotage our own blessings through doubt and unbelief. We pray for breakthrough, but we don't really expect it to come. We ask for help, but we don't prepare to receive it. We hope for change, but we don't actually believe we're worthy of it. So tonight I'm asking you to push past those self-protective mechanisms that keep you from hoping too much. Risk believing, risk trusting, risk expecting that good things can happen to you. What if you wake up tomorrow and things have started to shift? What if by next week you're looking at your situation completely differently? What if by next month you're living in a reality so different from today that you can barely remember what this struggle felt like? These aren't impossible scenarios. These are real possibilities that become probabilities when divine favor is activated in your life. The universe, God, the divine, whatever term resonates with you, is not distant or disconnected from your daily reality. The same power that holds planets in orbit and causes your heart to beat without you thinking about it, that power is intimately involved in the details of your life, including your finances. Nothing is too small or too mundane to matter. Your bills matter. Your bank account matters. Your peace of mind matters. All of it is important, and all of it is being addressed right now. I want you to start practicing gratitude before you see the full manifestation. Thank you for the breakthrough that's coming. Thank you for the doors that are opening. Thank you for the provision that's on its way. Thank you for the peace that's replacing anxiety. Thank you for the overflow that's going to characterize my new normal. Speak these thanks out loud. Let your voice carry faith into the atmosphere around you. Gratitude is not just good manners. It's a powerful spiritual force that attracts more of what you're grateful for. When you thank the divine for blessings before they arrive, you're operating in a level of faith that moves mountains. You're declaring that you trust the process so much that you're celebrating the victory before the battle is even over. That kind of faith gets heaven's attention. You are not going to barely scrape by anymore. You're not going to live on the edge of disaster anymore. You're not going to rob Peter to pay Paul anymore. You're stepping into a season of stability where your needs are met before you even fully realize you have them. where provision flows so naturally that you stop worrying about it, where abundance becomes your new normal instead of an impossible dream. And when this all comes to pass, when you're living in the reality I'm describing right now, I want you to remember this night. Remember how you felt when you were listening to these words. Remember the hope that started to grow in your heart. Remember the faith that began to rise up in your spirit. And let that memory become a testimony that you share with others who are in the place you're in right now. Your story of breakthrough will give someone else permission to hope. Your testimony of divine provision will strengthen someone else's faith. Your journey from struggle to overflow will light the path for someone else who's walking in darkness. This is why you had to go through what you've gone through. Not as punishment, but as preparation, not as a curse, but as a setup for a testimony that will impact countless lives. The next few days and weeks are going to be significant. Pay attention to every detail. Notice the small shifts, recognize the subtle changes, acknowledge the unexpected blessings, keep track of the answers to prayer. Write them down if you can, because it's easy to forget how bad things were once they get better. You'll want to remember the journey so you can share it with others and so you can strengthen your own faith when future challenges arise. This is not the last battle you'll ever face. Life continues to present challenges and difficulties. But what's different now is that you'll have this testimony, this proof that breakthrough is real, that divine provision exists, that miracles still happen, and that testimony will be a weapon you use against doubt and fear every time they try to creep back into your mind. You're building a history with the divine right now, a track record of faithfulness meeting faithfulness, your trust meeting divine trustworthiness, your hope meeting heaven's help. This history becomes a foundation you stand on, a solid rock beneath your feet that keeps you stable when storms come in the future. Every breakthrough strengthens that foundation and makes you more unshakable. Now I want to speak to the part of you that's still afraid, the part that's heard promises before and been disappointed, the part that's hoping this is true but scared to fully believe, because if it doesn't happen, the disappointment will be crushing. I understand that fear. It's a protective mechanism that's trying to keep you from getting hurt. But I want you to know that it's safe to hope. It's safe to believe. This is not going to end in disappointment. What's coming is so real and so tangible that you won't be able to deny it. This isn't about positive thinking or manifesting or any kind of mind game. This is about divine intervention in practical circumstances, real money in real accounts, real bills being paid, real debt being cleared, real opportunities opening up, real provision flowing, all of it measurable, provable, undeniable. So release that fear. Let it go like a balloon floating up into the sky, getting smaller and smaller until it disappears. You don't need it anymore. It's not protecting you. It's only limiting you. Fear closes doors that faith opens. Fear sees problems where faith sees possibilities. Fear expects the worst while faith expects the best. Choose faith. Choose hope. Choose to believe that your story is about to get remarkably better. Type "I trust God" if you're making the decision right now to let go of fear and embrace faith. Let me tell you about momentum. Once things start shifting in your favor, they tend to keep shifting. One breakthrough leads to another. One door opens and reveals another door behind it. One blessing attracts more blessings. This is how divine favor works. It builds and compounds and multiplies. So the breakthrough you're about to experience is not just a one-time event. It's the beginning of a flow, the start of a current that will carry you forward into increasing levels of blessing. You're not just getting out of trouble, you're getting into overflow. You're not just surviving, you're beginning to thrive. You're not just making it through, you're starting to make it big. The shift is not just from bad to okay. It's from bad to good to great to exceeding abundantly beyond what you could ask or imagine. This is important to understand because I don't want you to receive one blessing and then go back into fear and doubt, wondering if it's the last one you'll ever see. No, this is the beginning of a flow. Keep your heart open, keep your faith active, keep your expectations high. What's coming is not a one-time rescue. It's an ongoing relationship with divine provision that continues to supply everything you need for life and godliness. The people around you are going to notice the change before you fully realize it yourself sometimes. They'll comment on how different you seem, how peaceful you look, how confident you've become, how things are working out for you. They'll see it in your face, in your demeanor, in the way you carry yourself. The transformation is not just financial, it's holistic. Your whole life is being upgraded. Your relationships will improve because financial stress won't be putting pressure on them anymore. Your health will improve because the constant anxiety that was wearing down your body will be replaced with peace. Your creativity will flourish because your mind won't be consumed with survival anymore. Your joy will return because you'll have room in your heart for happiness again. Everything benefits when the crushing weight of financial pressure is removed. I want you to imagine something with me. Picture yourself 6 months from now. You're sitting in a comfortable space, maybe your home, maybe a coffee shop, somewhere peaceful. You're reflecting on this night when you heard these words, and you're smiling because everything I've been telling you came true. The breakthrough happened, the provision flowed, the debt got cleared, the doors opened, the stress lifted, everything changed. Now, from that future version of yourself, what would you say to the person you are right now? You'd probably say, hang on, it's worth it. The struggle is almost over. The blessing is real. Trust the process. Don't give up now. You're so close. Well, I'm speaking those words to you right now, on behalf of that future version of yourself who has already experienced the breakthrough. You don't have to understand how it's all going to work out. You don't have to figure out the mechanics or the logistics or the details. You just have to stay in faith. You just have to keep believing. You just have to remain open and expectant. The how is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is simply to trust that it will work out, and it will. There's an old saying that man plans and God laughs. Not because divine will mock our plans, but because the provision that's coming is so much better than anything we could have orchestrated ourselves. Your limited perspective can only see certain possibilities, certain pathways, certain solutions. But divine wisdom sees options and opportunities and resources that you don't even know exist. So the breakthrough coming is going to surprise you in the best possible way. It's going to be bigger than you expected. It's going to come from directions you didn't anticipate. It's going to involve people and circumstances you never would have connected on your own. And when it all comes together, you'll stand back in awe and say, there's no way I could have made this happen myself. This is clearly divine intervention. And you'll be absolutely right. The next time doubt tries to whisper in your ear, the next time fear tries to grip your heart, the next time anxiety tries to steal your peace, I want you to come back to this moment. Remember these words. Remember this message. Remember the hope that's being planted in your spirit right now. Let it anchor you when storms come. Let it steady you when things look uncertain. Let it remind you that breakthrough is not just possible, it's inevitable. You are deeply loved. You are completely seen. You are fully known. And you are about to be lavishly blessed. Not because you earned it, though you've worked hard. Not because you deserved it, though you've been faithful. But simply because you're a beloved child of the universe, created for abundance, designed for overflow, destined for more than enough. Every ceiling you've hit is about to become a floor. Every limit you've reached is about to become a launching pad. Every boundary you've bumped against is about to dissolve. You're stepping into a realm of possibility so vast that your current imagination can't even conceive of it. but soon you'll be living it, experiencing it, testifying about it. Type 777 if you know that something powerful is being released over your life right now. Let me share something with you that will shift your entire perspective on what's happening right now. You see, the financial struggle you've been facing was never meant to destroy you. It was designed to position you. Every closed door, every rejection, every delay, every moment when you felt like giving up, all of it was working together to bring you to this exact moment. This is the appointed time when everything that was being prepared in secret is now ready to be revealed in public. There are rooms you've never entered where your name has been mentioned. There are conversations happening right now about opportunities that have your name written all over them. There are contracts being drafted, approvals being processed, decisions being made, and all of it is aligning perfectly to release resources directly into your hands. You didn't manipulate any of this. You didn't force any of this. You simply stayed faithful during the difficult season, and now the fruit of that faithfulness is ripening and ready to be harvested. I want you to think about a seed that's planted in dark soil. For weeks, maybe months, nothing visible happens above the ground. If you didn't know better, you'd think the seed had died, that nothing was working, that all hope was lost. But beneath the surface, invisible to the human eye, roots are growing deeper and stronger. The seed is breaking open, life is stirring, transformation is happening in the darkness. And then one day, seemingly out of nowhere, a green shoot breaks through the soil and reaches toward the sun. What looked like death was actually the beginning of abundant life. That's exactly where you are right now. You've been planted in a season of darkness and difficulty. It felt like nothing was happening. It looked like your situation would never change. But beneath the surface of what you could see, roots of provision were growing deep. Foundations of blessing were being established. The seed of promise that was planted in your life was breaking open, getting ready to produce a harvest. And now, right now, you're about to see that green shoot break through the soil of your circumstances. The timing of this breakthrough is absolutely perfect, even though it doesn't feel like it. You probably wish it had come sooner. You've probably wondered why it took so long. But divine timing is always perfect, because it's not just about giving you what you need when you need it. It's about preparing you to handle what you're about to receive. If the blessing had come earlier, you might not have been ready for it. You might not have had the character to sustain it. You might not have developed the wisdom to steward it properly. The waiting season has been refining you, shaping you, preparing you to carry the weight of glory that's about to rest on your life. You're not the same person you were when this struggle began. You're stronger now. You're wiser now. You're more compassionate now. You're more humble now. You're more dependent on divine guidance now. And all of these qualities are going to serve you well as you step into the abundant life that's opening before you. Let me tell you about multiplication. There's a principle in the spiritual realm that says whatever you give or sow in faith gets multiplied back to you. Not just returned, but multiplied. When you gave even though you had barely enough, you were sowing seeds of generosity that are now ready to produce a harvest of abundance. When you helped someone else even though you needed help yourself, you were investing in a future return that's about to manifest. When you tithed or donated or contributed even when it didn't make financial sense, you were activating a law of multiplication that operates beyond human logic. All of those seeds you planted in faith are now mature plants heavy with fruit, and harvest time has arrived. You're about to reap what you've sown, and because divine mathematics doesn't work like human mathematics, the return is going to be 30-fold, 60-fold, even 100-fold beyond what you gave. This isn't wishful thinking. This is spiritual law. What goes around comes around, and what you sent out in faith is now circling back to you with interest compounded by heaven itself. I want you to understand something crucial about the nature of this season you're entering. It's not just about receiving financial blessing. It's about stepping into a new identity. You've been defined by lack for so long that you've started to see yourself as someone who struggles, someone who barely makes it, someone who's always behind. But that's not who you really are. That was just a temporary season, a chapter in your story, not the whole book. Your true identity is as a child of the divine, created for abundance, designed for overflow, destined for more than enough. As the financial breakthrough manifests in your life, you're going to have to adjust your self-perception. You're going to have to stop seeing yourself as needy and start seeing yourself as supplied. You're going to have to stop identifying as struggling and start identifying as blessed. You're going to have to release old narratives about who you are and embrace new truths about your identity. This mental and spiritual shift is just as important as the practical financial change. Think about the Israelites who were freed from slavery in Egypt. They walked out of bondage physically, but many of them carried a slave mentality for years afterward. Even though they were free, they still thought like slaves, acted like slaves, expected the treatment of slaves. It took a whole generation for that old identity to die and a new identity as free people to take root. Don't let that be your story. As the breakthrough comes, embrace it fully. Let go of the old identity of lack and step completely into the new identity of abundance. Your children are watching you. Whether you realize it or not, they're seeing how you handle this season of difficulty. They're learning from your responses, your attitudes, your faith or lack thereof. And when the breakthrough comes, they're going to see that too. They're going to witness firsthand that faithfulness pays off, that trust in the divine is not misplaced, that breakthrough is real and possible. The testimony you're building right now is going to shape their expectations for their own lives. Imagine your children or grandchildren facing financial difficulty years from now, and they remember this season in your life. They remember how you struggled but didn't quit. They remember how you trusted even when you couldn't see the way forward. They remember how breakthrough came and changed everything. That memory becomes a source of strength for them, a reminder that if it happened for you, it can happen for them too. Your breakthrough is not just for you. It's a generational blessing that will impact your family tree for decades to come. Now let me address something that might be stirring in your mind right now. You might be thinking, this all sounds wonderful, but what if it doesn't happen? What if I believe these words and nothing changes? What if I'm disappointed again? I understand that fear. You've been let down before, you've hoped before and been crushed when things didn't work out. You've believed promises that seemed to fall flat. So there's a part of you that wants to protect yourself from potential pain by not fully buying into this message. But I'm asking you to be brave enough to hope again, to be courageous enough to believe again, to be bold enough to expect that this time is different. Because it is different. This isn't false hope or empty encouragement. This is truth speaking to your situation, and the truth has power to transform reality. Your breakthrough is not dependent on your perfect faith or your complete understanding. It's dependent on divine faithfulness, and the divine never fails, never lies, never abandons, never forgets. What if instead of protecting yourself from disappointment, you opened yourself fully to possibility? What if instead of guarding your heart against hurt, you made yourself vulnerable to hope? What if instead of playing it safe emotionally, you went all in on believing that your life is about to dramatically change for the better? The risk of disappointment is real, but the reward of breakthrough is even more real, and it's worth the risk. Let me paint another picture for you. Imagine a bird that's been in a cage for years. The door of the cage swings open, but the bird doesn't fly out immediately. It's so accustomed to the confined space, so used to the limitations, so familiar with the boundaries, that freedom feels foreign and frightening. Even though the door is wide open, even though nothing is holding it back anymore, the bird hesitates. It takes courage to fly out of the only environment you've known, even when that environment was a prison. You might be that bird right now. The door to your financial cage is swinging open. The boundaries that have confined you are dissolving. The limitations that felt permanent are proving to be temporary. But stepping out into the open sky of abundance requires courage. It requires you to leave behind the familiar territory of struggle and venture into the unknown territory of overflow. It requires you to spread wings you haven't used in a long time and trust that they'll carry you. I'm telling you right now, spread those wings. Take that leap, fly out of the cage. The open sky of provision is waiting for you, and you were made to soar, not to be confined. Yes, it feels scary. Yes, it's unfamiliar. Yes, you don't know exactly what it will look like. But staying in the cage of lack when the door to abundance is open is a tragedy you don't have to live. There's also something I need you to understand about spiritual warfare. The enemy of your soul does not want you to receive this breakthrough. He doesn't want you to walk in abundance because abundant people have the resources to do tremendous good in the world. Abundant people can fund kingdom purposes, bless others generously, and live as examples of divine provision. So there's going to be resistance. There's going to be attack. There's going to be opposition. You might notice that right after hearing this message, unexpected problems pop up. More bills might come. More challenges might surface. More obstacles might appear. This is not a sign that the breakthrough isn't real. It's actually confirmation that something powerful is happening. The enemy only attacks what threatens him, and your imminent financial breakthrough threatens his plans to keep you limited, discouraged, and ineffective. When you face these attacks, and you might, don't be shaken. Don't let them convince you that nothing has changed or that this message was false. Stand firm, hold your ground, keep believing, keep expecting, keep trusting. The resistance is temporary, but the breakthrough is permanent. The attack is for a season, but the blessing is for a lifetime. Don't give up right before the victory manifests fully. Type Amen if you believe God is fighting for you right now. I also want to talk to you about the practical side of stewardship because this is important. When the money comes, and it will come, you need to handle it with wisdom. One of the reasons people lose blessings is because they don't steward them properly. They receive increase but then waste it on frivolous things, or they become careless with it, or they fail to save and invest it wisely. I don't want that to be your story. So even before the breakthrough fully manifests, start educating yourself about financial wisdom. Read books about money management. Listen to podcasts about investing and saving. Talk to people who handle money well. Prepare yourself to be a good steward of the resources that are coming. This isn't about being anxious or controlling. It's about being responsible and intentional. Divine provision deserves wise stewardship. Think about the parable of the talents. 3 servants were given different amounts of money to manage. 2 of them invested it wisely and multiplied what they were given. 1 buried his in the ground out of fear and returned only what he was given with no increase. The master praised the 2 who multiplied their resources and rebuked the 1 who didn't. The point is clear: what you're given is meant to be stewarded, multiplied, and used wisely, not hoarded in fear or wasted in foolishness. When your breakthrough comes, pay off debt strategically, save consistently, give generously, invest wisely, live within your means even as your means increase. Don't fall into the trap of lifestyle inflation where every increase in income immediately gets swallowed up by increased spending. Let your wealth actually build instead of constantly flowing through your hands. This is how you create lasting financial security rather than temporary relief. And speaking of giving, let me emphasize this: generosity is the key to sustained abundance. When you receive your breakthrough, don't close your hand, keep it open. Bless others, help people who are in the situation you're coming out of. Support causes you care about. Be the answer to someone else's prayer. This keeps the flow of blessing moving. Stagnant water becomes toxic, but flowing water stays fresh and life-giving. Be a channel, not a reservoir. There's also something beautiful about becoming part of someone else's miracle. When you give to someone in need, you're playing a role in their breakthrough story. You become the vessel through which divine provision reaches them. There's no greater joy than being used as an instrument of blessing in someone else's life. And ironically, the more you give, the more you receive. Not because you're manipulating some cosmic vending machine, but because generosity aligns you with the heart of the divine, and the divine is the ultimate giver. Now I want to speak to your emotions for a moment. You've been carrying so much stress and anxiety for so long that it's become almost normal. Your body has been in a constant state of fight or flight. Your nervous system has been on high alert. Your cortisol levels have been elevated. Your sleep has been disrupted. Your health has suffered. Financial stress doesn't just affect your bank account. It affects your entire well-being. As the breakthrough comes and the financial pressure lifts, you're going to notice changes in your physical and emotional health too. You'll sleep better. You'll feel less tense. Your digestion will improve. Your energy will increase. Your mood will stabilize. You might even notice that chronic pain or health issues start to resolve, because so much of physical illness is connected to emotional and mental stress. The healing coming to your finances is going to trigger healing in other areas of your life too. Give yourself permission to feel joy again. Give yourself permission to laugh without guilt. Give yourself permission to dream about the future with excitement instead of dread. Give yourself permission to enjoy the blessings as they come without constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. You've been in survival mode for so long that you've forgotten how to actually live. But living, truly living with peace and joy and hope, is about to become your new reality. I also want you to know that it's okay to celebrate your breakthrough when it comes. Some people feel guilty about being blessed, especially if they have friends or family who are still struggling. But your blessing doesn't diminish anyone else's potential for blessing. Divine resources are not limited. There's enough for everyone. Your overflow doesn't mean someone else has to go without. In fact, your breakthrough can inspire hope in others and show them that miracles are still possible. So when the money comes, when the debt gets cleared, when the doors open, when the provision flows, celebrate it, throw a little party, share your testimony, express gratitude loudly and publicly. Let your joy be uncontained. This honors the divine who provided for you, and it encourages others who are still waiting for their breakthrough. Your celebration today becomes someone else's hope for tomorrow. There's also something I need to say about comparison. In this age of social media, it's easy to look at other people's lives and feel like you're behind, like everyone else has it figured out except you, like blessings are flowing to everyone but passing you by. But comparison is a thief of joy and a killer of faith. You're not running someone else's race. You're running your own. Your timeline is not their timeline. Your journey is not their journey. Your breakthrough will look different from theirs, and that's perfectly okay. Stop measuring your progress by someone else's highlight reel. Stop judging your chapter 1 by their chapter 20. Stop feeling inadequate because their blessing came before yours. Your time is coming. Your season is arriving. Your breakthrough is manifesting, and it will be perfectly tailored to your life, your needs, your purpose, and your destiny. Trust the timing. Trust the process. Trust that what's meant for you will not miss you. Let me also remind you that this breakthrough is not the end goal. It's a means to an end. The ultimate goal is not wealth itself, but what wealth enables: freedom to pursue your purpose, resources to bless others, security that brings peace, and the ability to focus on what truly matters without constant financial distraction. Money is a tool, not a master. As it flows into your life, keep it in its proper place as a servant to your higher purposes, not as an idol that demands your worship. Think about what you'll be able to do when financial pressure is removed. Maybe you'll finally be able to pursue the dream you've been putting off. Maybe you'll have time and energy to invest in relationships that have been neglected. Maybe you'll be able to volunteer or serve in ways you've wanted to but couldn't because you were working multiple jobs just to survive. Maybe you'll have the peace of mind to hear divine guidance more clearly. The breakthrough is about so much more than money. It's about reclaiming your whole life. And finally, I want you to know that you are worthy of this blessing, not because of anything you've done or achieved, but simply because you exist, because you're a beloved creation of the divine, because you matter. You don't have to earn the breakthrough. You don't have to prove yourself deserving. You don't have to reach some level of perfection before blessing can come. Grace doesn't work that way. Love doesn't operate on a merit system. You are worthy simply because you are, and the provision flowing to you now is an expression of unconditional love, not conditional approval. So receive it with open hands and a grateful heart. Let it sink deep into your soul that you are valued, you are seen, you are known. And you are about to be abundantly blessed, not as a reward for performance, but as a gift of grace. This understanding will keep you humble as the blessing comes, grateful as it flows, and generous as it multiplies. You'll know you didn't earn it, so you can't boast about it. You'll know it was grace, so you'll extend grace to others. You'll know it was a gift, so you'll become a gift to the world around you. As we move toward the conclusion of this message, I want you to understand that what you do after hearing these words matters. Don't just listen and walk away unchanged. Let this message work in you. Let it transform your thinking. Let it adjust your expectations. Let it recalibrate your faith. Action combined with belief creates manifestation. Start speaking differently about your situation. Stop saying, "I'm broke, I'm struggling, I'll never make it." Start saying, "Provision is flowing, breakthrough is coming, my situation is changing." Words carry creative power. What you consistently speak, you eventually see. So guard your tongue, direct your speech. Use your words to build the reality you want to live in rather than reinforcing the reality you're trying to escape. Start moving differently too. Make decisions from a place of faith rather than fear. When opportunity presents itself, even if it seems risky, evaluate it from a perspective of trust rather than terror. Sometimes the breakthrough requires you to step out before you feel completely ready. Sometimes you have to walk toward the door before it swings open. Faith often requires action, movement, participation, but also rest. Don't feel like you have to hustle and grind your way into blessing. That's the old way, the exhausting way, the way that's been wearing you out. The new way is rest in divine provision. Work, yes, but from a place of peace rather than panic. Move, yes, but with confidence rather than desperation. Act, yes, but with assurance rather than anxiety. The balance between faith and works, between trusting and taking action, between resting and moving. This balance is something you'll learn as you walk through this new season. Don't be hard on yourself as you figure it out. You're learning a new way of living, and learning takes time. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. Celebrate small victories. Acknowledge tiny shifts. Recognize subtle progress. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Yes, breakthrough is coming quickly, but the new lifestyle you're stepping into is something you'll live for years to come. So settle in for long-term abundance rather than a quick fix. What's coming is not a temporary relief. It's a permanent upgrade, not a band-aid, but a cure. Not a loan, but an inheritance. As the hours pass tonight, as you eventually lay your head down to sleep, I want you to rest in peace, real peace. The kind of peace that surpasses understanding. The kind of peace that doesn't make logical sense given your circumstances, but exists anyway because it comes from a source beyond logic. Let that peace wash over you like warm water, melting away tension, dissolving stress, releasing anxiety. You're going to sleep better tonight than you have in months. Your body will relax fully, maybe for the first time in ages. Your mind will quiet down instead of racing through worst-case scenarios. Your spirit will rest in the assurance that everything is going to work out, that help is on the way, that breakthrough is not just hoped for but guaranteed. And when you wake tomorrow, you're waking to a new day in more ways than one. Yes, it'll be a new date on the calendar, but more importantly, it'll be a new season in your spirit. The old season of struggle is closing. The new season of overflow is opening. The dark night of financial crisis is ending. The bright morning of provision is beginning. Watch for signs of this shift. Check your email, answer your phone, open your mail, talk to people. Stay alert and aware because breakthrough often comes through ordinary channels. Divine intervention doesn't always look supernatural. Sometimes it looks completely natural, so natural that you might miss it if you're not paying attention. Stay expectant, stay watchful, stay ready to receive. Your testimony is being written right now. Future generations will tell the story of how things turned around for you. How you were struggling one season and thriving the next. How debt that seemed insurmountable got cleared. How lack transformed into abundance. How worry gave way to worship. This story that's unfolding in your life right now is going to bless people you'll never meet. So walk through this season with dignity and grace. Don't become arrogant when the blessing comes. Stay humble, stay grateful, stay generous. Remember where you came from so you never forget to help others who are where you used to be. Success with character is rare and beautiful. Be someone who handles blessing as well as you handled struggle. I'm believing with you right now for everything you need, for every debt to be cleared, for every door to open, for every provision to flow, for every blessing to manifest, for every promise to be fulfilled. I'm standing in faith with you, agreeing with you, calling forth the breakthrough that heaven has already released toward you. You're not alone in this. You never were. Even when it felt like no one understood or cared, you were held, supported, guided, protected. And now you're about to see evidence of that care in ways that are tangible and undeniable. The invisible support is becoming visible blessing. The hidden work is becoming manifest provision. Type 1111 if you're receiving this message deep in your spirit and you know it's meant specifically for you. And now, as I bring this message to a close, I want you to carry these words with you not just tonight, but in all the days ahead. When doubt creeps in, remember what you heard here. When fear tries to grip you, recall these truths. When anxiety threatens to overwhelm you, return to this message and let it speak peace to your storm once again. You are standing on the edge of breakthrough. The door is opening. The blessing is flowing. The miracle is manifesting. Your story of lack is ending and your testimony of abundance is beginning. From this night forward, you will never be the same. The struggle that defined yesterday will not define tomorrow. The limitation that marked your past will not mark your future. Sleep well tonight, knowing that while you rest, heaven is working on your behalf. Angels are moving. Doors are opening. Resources are flowing. Solutions are forming. Answers are coming. And by the time you wake, things will have already begun to shift in your favor. Not because of anything you did to earn it, but simply because you're loved beyond measure and cared for completely. Your breakthrough is not just coming, it's already here. The shift has happened in the realm beyond what you can see, and now it's manifesting into your visible reality. Financial freedom is yours, peace of mind is yours, overflow is yours. Abundance is yours. It's all been released. It's all been given. It's all on its way to you right now. So stand firm in faith. Walk boldly in confidence. Live expectantly with hope. Speak powerfully with your words. Move purposefully with your actions. And watch as everything I've spoken over your life tonight comes to pass in ways that exceed even the promises I've made. Because divine provision always surpasses human description. The reality is always better than the words that attempt to describe it. My dear child, this is your moment. This is your time. This is your breakthrough. The season of weeping has expired. The season of rejoicing is here. The time of lack has ended. The time of overflow has begun. The day of struggle is closing. The day of ease is dawning. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what heaven has set in motion on your behalf. Go now into your night with peace flooding your heart, hope filling your spirit, and absolute confidence that by tomorrow, by next week, by next month, you will be living in a completely transformed reality. The breakthrough is real. The provision is coming. The blessing is yours. And this is not the end of the message. It's the beginning of your new story, a story of divine provision that will be told for generations to come. In the name of all that is good and loving and powerful in this universe, I declare over you tonight that your financial struggles are over, your breakthrough has arrived, and your testimony of overflow has officially begun. May you wake to signs of this truth. May you walk in the fullness of this blessing, and may your life become a living example of what divine intervention looks like in practical, tangible, undeniable ways. Rest well, beloved. Your miracle is already on its way.